Welcome, everyone, to the ESPN Sports Center. We are all sports all the time, and that's the way it's going to be continuing.
Sunday's New York, New Jersey meeting was
He steps up big time. He robbed Adam Oates.
Please take that off the rest of the day. We're here a long time.
back, and gone!
It was a year ago this week that we took the air with the pledge very simply that we would bring you the most comprehensive sports news programming that you would find on television.
It's time for Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
As we approach Thanksgiving, things starting to come into focus, back and better than ever. Mike and Mike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guests on this.
If you watch sports, you watch ESPN. In nearly 4 decades since it first went on the air, the company in the small town of Bristol, Connecticut has become the first and last word in games, news, and analysis. But now, when news breaks on Twitter and highlights show up on Vine long before your TV, ESPN has to become much more than a TV network. It has to be everywhere, and it has to be there now.
As you look at how video had been processed over the last 50 years, there was a single wire that was used to transport something from point A to point B. Now that it's really the ones and zeros and it's a data set, we can use it, we can address it, and it can be sent along a network.
This building is 4K ready and 8K capable. We're now in the 1080p range. Not everybody can get that signal yet because the cable companies can't broadcast that, but we are delivering that.
SportsCenter has always been the most important show at ESPN, and this year it got a huge upgrade. A new 10,000 square foot studio in DC2, the newest and highest tech building on ESPN's massive campus. It's a huge space-age collection of screens, cameras, and cables, designed to be live 18 hours a day and to help SportsCenter move at the speed of the internet.
That studio allows us to do things, I think, with virtuals, technology, with the catwalk walking through. You have 6 screens that can go into 3, that can go into 1.
Kevin is the king of the catwalk, I just want you to know. I mean, there's no one that walks the catwalk like Kevin.
I embrace change in technology. And so I think that studio allows, I think, Hannah and I to kind of welcome the country every day to say, hey, these are the toys that we have. Let's go all through it together. We're going to try this new thing and let's experience it together.
I mean, everything we do is to try to create that mix of efficiency, infrastructure, and workflow, right? What does the content need to do with it? How can we help them? And that's been our goal.
You keep people tuned in by giving a good story. When they want to find out something that's going on in sports, they usually tune to ESPN because they know that we're going to be going out, finding all that information out, and being able to present it to them in a way that they can understand, and that helps them understand what is going on, whether it be with NFL, NBA, whichever the sport may be. That's what we do.
It's what we're expected to do. And that means that, whatever platform they're using, whatever time of day it is, however they're connecting with their friends, we need to be there because that's holding up our end of the relationship.
That relationship has changed. ESPN's mission has always been to be everywhere sports fans are. Now that means fantasy teams and Twitter and being there when we want to watch the game on our phones. And it means being ready for anything.
The advantage we have at ESPN is that we're in the world of sports. So for the most part, many of the things we have to cover are on schedules. We can get people into places where they can report that stuff. We can think about the cadence of the day and how that should roll out in the mobile space, the social space, and on air. The hard part and the most fun is when Odell Beckham Jr. does something that you've never seen before. And that's when it's like, all right, where is everybody? And what is this like? And how does this show up in the social space?
If you are slow and want to make it beautiful, you can't live in the Twitter space. Because some guy just held his phone up to his TV and put it up on Twitter. And then here we come 8 minutes after the play happened with the ta-da, look at this beautiful opening. And we've got music and natural sound. And you're like, I already saw it, dude.
Giants rookie receiver Odell Beckham Jr. an instant.
I think the core still stays the same. It's highlights, it's reaction, it's our analysis talking. I think now we can just kind of add some layers to the story that we couldn't get before.
The challenge for almost everybody else in the industry is how do I create it? What do I do? How do I compete? How do I cover this story about the Red Sox getting these 2 guys? For us, We don't even worry about that. We've got people, we're going to plug them in place, we've got experienced people who know how to tell the story. Then the question becomes, okay, now it's told, what do we do with that content?
Cable TV, at least the way it exists now, is dying. Services like Sling TV are unbundling the channels, but people are also just canceling their expensive subscriptions and are finding other ways to see what they want to see. ESPN says it's okay with that, but it still has to figure out how to adapt.
Everybody's doing cord cutting. People are watching Netflix, etc. So what can we do to still give the people, the viewing audience, the ability to see live programming? That's what separates ESPN from all the other networks, is all of the live programming. You don't really want to watch a game late because you already know who won. It kind of takes the fun out of the game. So how can we do that better?
The platforms keep changing, whether it's Apple TV or Roku, or you're trying to make it prepared for Snapchat or Instagram. In the last year, we have seen just we did about 3 million video views a month on over-the-top devices and Twitter. And a year later, that number is a combined about 70 million.
Digital is a perfect example of, like, I have 3 kids and I don't know what's going to come out of their mouth next. That's the digital space. It just rolls, right? If you turn it upside down and you say, change is the normal, not, change is disruptive, but we know that things are constantly going to change, then you can cope a little bit better.
We don't know what's out there. We don't know what's going to take hold. Is 3D going to come back? Who knows what is going to be out there? So the infrastructure here, the concept was, how do we make it so it's more flexible, adaptive, and open to what's going to be presented to us next?
That's the thing about the future. You can make plans and invest millions of dollars in a brand new facility to help data flow more places more quickly. But you never know exactly what's coming. So ESPN is learning what every media company in this century has to: how to build a network that isn't just on TV or on the web, but everywhere.
Wherever they're consuming our product, we want to be able to have what we can available to them to serve sports fans anytime, anywhere, under any platform. They're our future, and we keep that going for them.